Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. There's no such thing as overanalyzing or reading too much into your favorite Bravo shows and Bravo-lebrities here. So join me, Bravo and Botox, as I find the depth amongst the shallow. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Bravo Papers. Today, I have a bonus episode and a very special guest, and my first guest ever, Selle Brooks. She is a comedian. She's a vlogger. She's, a Bravo TV addict like myself and all of you listening, and a pop culture fanatic and host of the Who Asked Me podcast. And also one of the stars of my Twitter roundups. Often, it's true though. I was like, she's often used in my Twitter roundups. I hope she likes that.
Oh no, I love it.
Oh, good. Okay. Because, there's not as many of us who are like the Instagram and Twitter people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have the account, but they don't really, you know what I mean? There's one of them that they're not active on. And I feel like Instagram is much safer. And Twitter, and Twitter is like the Wild West. You've got to be brave going into Twitter.
I understand when people are like, I'm not on Twitter. I completely understand it. I'm like, I get it. It because I don't know if I've built up such a thick skin. I just had my Twitter anniversary because it gave me a notification. I've been on there for like 13 years or something.
Oh my God, me too. I've been on for over a decade.
I don't know if it's because I built up such a thick like Twitter skin. I've gone viral on Twitter one time, like 6 years ago. Yeah. And and honestly, it was so random because I was just so irritated because my mom was on the phone. And so I tweeted like, when you are trying to watch something on TV, but your parent is talking on the phone, you can't ask them to be quiet because African-American, and it blew the hell up. And I was like, okay. And then from now and again, I tweeting from a show about a show or something, I might go like mini viral. I think somebody sent me something, either one of my TikToks or one of my tweets made its way onto a Reddit thread about Summer House. Oh, and it was like, people are always like, you are the captain of the Lindsay Hubbard defense team. And I'm like,
it's okay. I'm there with you.
It had this whole what do they call it on Reddit? Board or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. It gets upvoted.
Oh, it was so funny because they all were like, I hate Lindsay, but this girl's got a point. I hate Lindsay, but she's got a point. And was at that moment because I'm terrified of Reddit. The way people are terrified of Twitter, I'm terrified of Reddit. It's Reddit too much. Tough. And I think Reddit's it's because people hide more behind, Reddit. I don't know.
It's so true. Reddit is very anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
And I am I used to be a big Reddit person for a while, but I was a lurker. I didn't really say anything because I was too scared.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say something dumb, they are all over you.
They're going to eat you alive.
They'll eat you. Whereas on Twitter, people might just make fun of you a bit.
Right.
And you might get eaten alive. Yeah, there's a chance. But most people just won't even notice you on Twitter. You can just kind of fade into the back. But on Reddit, anyone who's on that thread is reading every comment and they're ready to have it's like a dissertation. It's honestly, people are getting their PhD. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I appreciate, the discussion and the nuance that goes on, but then it can also be very negative a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, but yeah, and it
can be scary.
It was at that point that I started to see people slowly be
sorry.
like, "Oh no, you're fine."
Sorry, I don't know what just happened. Siri started talking to me. Okay, cool. Sorry, keep going.
But yeah, it was at that point that I saw people slowly start to turn, because like I'm well aware that I'm a Lindsay Hubbard fan. And I don't call myself a Lindsay
and
Hubbard
there's
apologist,
nothing wrong with that.
I don't apologize. Like, I'm not a Lindsay Hubbard apologist, because I don't make excuses for her quote unquote behavior. Like, when she gets activated, when she does shit like that, I'm like, there she goes. There she goes. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's Lindsay. That's what I expect from her. But I just don't hate her. You know, the name calling, she's so vile. She's so this, she's so.
Yep.
I think it's just so wild to me. But it was at that point where I was like, okay, people are starting to see. And I got, by the end of that last season, everybody was like, not everybody, so many people were like,
a lot.
You know, I didn't think that I liked her, but I'm going to go back and watch. And I'm like, that's all I ask. I'm like, if you go back and watch with fresh eyes, knowing what we know now, I was like, I do think that you'll have a different opinion about her. I really, really do, knowing what we know now. Now, I didn't need to do a rewatch, okay? I've always liked Lindsay.
Like, I knew the first time.
I just think that if you go back, I'm like, that's just with fresh eyes, go back and watch, be open to forming a different opinion. I think you will have a different opinion. And I know you did a fabulous play-by-play. You know, the seasons, how we got here to this last season. And I was like, thank you, because for people to act as if Paige is one of the people, Paige and Kyle do this the worst. They call people outside of their name.
The worst.
Paige and Kyle will call somebody a fucking bitch and it just goes. And I'm like,
I know, and no one cares.
No one gives a fuck.
But if Lindsay said it, everybody would be, look so at her. Vile. She has such a temper. Yeah.
She did not give Danielle any type of reaction. And
people were mad.
People are upset. People were like, she's just such a cold-hearted bitch. I'm like, would you give somebody any type of reaction that was acting like that? Yeah, I know I wouldn't.
No.
And the other thing that I like that you highlighted is that Danielle is not innocent. She has not always been this little innocent mouse. I remember I started watching Summer House probably like, I missed the first season. And then I started at season 2. And then I went back and watched season 1. So like I was always a season behind. And I remember season 3 when Hannah and Paige came in. I watched like the first season. I was never a Hannah Berner fan. I always was like,
I thought she was really annoying.
I was like, okay. So I stopped halfway through. And then I saw Paige and Hannah starting to blow the fuck up, I was confused.
Okay. I'm not why are they blowing up? Yep.
And so my friend was like, oh, you should watch. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like them. Paige, I thought was funny-ish.
Yeah, she has her moments. I'll give her that.
I thought I understood why Paige was there. Hannah, I was just like, okay. I mean, I can always see why somebody's on a show. Let me be clear. I can always see why somebody's on a show. But I just wasn't understanding the phenomenon that was Giggly Squad because, in lack of better terms, those are two very basic people that are very glorified for being basic. And I'm not somebody who thinks you need to be extraordinary, but I just think when it comes to Hannah and Paige, like if those are just people that you interacted with in your life, you'd be like, yeah, I know them. They're fine.
Right. You know what I mean? 100%. I think a lot of, maybe not Hannah as much. And I do not mean that to say she's ugly. I'm not saying that, but I do think that Paige, Sierra, and Amanda get away with a lot because they're pretty. I really, they're pretty. They're like size 0, whatever. And I think they get away with a lot more. Lindsay, don't get me wrong. Lindsay's gorgeous. She's beautiful and all that, but she's like, I don't know. She's Lindsay, just like she's a different type of pretty than that. They're like that very, I don't know, like they're like that influencer type.
Those group of girls are the mean girls that you do want to be friends with.
Yeah, you desire
they're the mean girls that you want to be friends with, right? Lindsay is I don't want to call her a mean girl because I don't believe that she's mean. I do not. When I say that to people, they're like, are you fucking crazy? No, I'm not. Because for me, somebody who is a mean person is going out of their way to be mean. When Lindsay first meets people, when she interacts with them for the first time and is getting to know them, Is she overly welcoming? No. But is she like, whatever. Hey, how are you? Like, she's welcoming.
Yeah.
Paige, Amanda, and all of them. I see them just from the show. I see them approach people with the intent to get them on their side from jump. That's what I've seen the past couple seasons. Like you pointed out in your recap, as soon as Hannah and Paige entered the home, Amanda was the one that was like, there's beef there. There's beef there. Lindsay was like, hi, I'm Lindsay. Give me a hug.
I know, literally nothing was happening.
Nothing was going on. Nothing was going on. Amanda was the one that brought it up. And to talk about the feelings and the feelings, yes, Amanda can feel a type of way because of what was going on and all of that stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. But you cannot deny that because she was feeling that type of way, she started drawing a narrative. And it's crazy because I used to be a huge Amanda fan. Huge Amanda fan. She has created and cultivated and fostered a lot of the environment that is Summer House right now.
I agree.
And she gets away with it scot-free.
Yeah, because she has that demeanor. You know what I mean? And she throws a stone and then she hides her hand. That's her biggest thing. And then on top of that, she does kind of come off like she's good at presenting herself as a middle person. Like when shit comes to blows, she'll be like, okay, well, you should probably apologize. You know what I mean? Like she will throw in these little, like, a moment of reason and it throws people off. But if you watch carefully, she's lighting a lot of the fires and then she runs away. She's good at that. She'll say something and then she'll be like, I don't want to be in the drama. And then she'll run out of the room into the other room.
She threw
all the time.
And I thought this was funny because I thought Hannah was being ridiculous, but she threw a bowl at Hannah.
Right? It was a full hard plastic cup full of ice and drink, right? Or was it a bowl? Either way, Paige said it was hard plastic.
Yeah, I always felt like it was a bowl, but she threw it across the table at her.
And Lindsay she broke that thing.
Yeah, Lindsay is and she's Amanda has broken a lot of things. She has thrown that shit at Hannah. She's broken one of those things in the house. And then she broke Kyle's stuff. She broke Kyle's stuff. Yep.
Which, fine, I don't care, but still.
I care about the breaking of the stuff. I'm sorry. I do.
I just mean that if other people did it, they'd be called out.
Exactly. I care about the breaking of the stuff. And that's kind of when I started to turn on Amanda because you can't, and I hate siding with Kyle, reasoning with Kyle. But if Kyle did that to Amanda.
Oh, no.
The internet people, they would be calling for him to be off Bravo.
Yeah,
they would call him abusive.
Yep, they would.
They would call him abusive because do I think that Kyle should have answered the phone? Absolutely. I don't think that he should have been out. However, because he didn't answer his phone and because he was out, the answer is not then I break your stuff.
Right.
That's not the answer.
I hope whoever's listening is a Summer House fan because we are jumping all over the place. So they better know the seasons.
Yeah, it's not the answer. Like I don't care which way anybody tries to twist and turn it. And because that's when I was watching, I was like, I cannot imagine if this were Kyle outside breaking her stuff because she didn't answer the phone.
Yep.
I do think that there should have been more respect there, but the lack of respect doesn't mean that his shit gets to be broken and put out.
No. Yeah, that's true. It's never, especially on camera, especially like you have to, I don't want them to fake who they are on camera, but at the same, people are like, oh, Lindsay puts things on. I'm like, Lindsay uses her brain. Like she knew that in that moment with Danielle, it was not going to serve her to freak out and blow up. I don't think that makes her a bad person. I think that just makes her a person who's not as reactive in the moment and is thinking it through.
I say this all the time about Lindsay. I don't know how she does it because
I don't either.
I would absolutely, positively freak out on every single person, not only audience, but then the people I'm in the house with too, because I would be like, did you guys watch what we watched? Did you watch what I watched? Because did you see her call me a bitch? Did you see her come at me? Did you see her talk around me? All of the things. Like, but I'm the issue. She does it every season. And that's why I do have an immense amount of respect for her, because she takes a lot of this shit on the chest, on the cheek, all season, every season. She gets the blame for it. And then she drops everything, comes back next season. She's ready to do her job again.
Yeah, she is a true professional, as much as, you know, I know there's like always this little drama behind the scenes where people say maybe she's not nice to production. And so what do you think about that? What do you think about the people saying that, oh, she threw a shoe at production or whatever it was that Paige said? Do we believe it?
No. I say this because honestly, truly, if the shoe would have been thrown, I think we would have heard about it. I'm just saying, like, we would have heard about it. I could
see that.
And I think that Paige would have brought it up before then. Okay, I know that Lindsay is like friendly with some of the producers. Okay. And I think that if there was a shoe thrown, then it was in a funny, if anything was thrown, it was in a funny, they're all friends with producers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sierra
so maybe it was like
that
the
Wesley
context.
guy was her. Yeah, that Sierra used to joke that Wesley guy was her boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
that's true.
They take a lot of things. Paige and them take a lot of things, and then they put, as my mom says, 100 on 10. It seems like to me. And
and you can twist something very easily.
Yeah, and Paige like doesn't. I don't know if she doesn't use her brain or like what happens there, but when she says these things, and I'm looking at her like, are you dense? Because she says, you had the internet. You said that I didn't call you or whatever, that I weaponized your miscarriage against you. Lindsay didn't say that, girlfriend. We said that.
I said that.
The audience said that because we saw it happen. We saw it happen. And she's like, I don't get my followers and stuff against you. You do. You may not take out a public service announcement and say, hey guys, we're going for Lindsay. But what you do is,
but neither Lindsay doesn't either.
You plant seeds. You say you threw a shoe at a producer. You say your boyfriend all of a sudden is sending merch to Bravo accounts that claim that Lindsay was mean to them. You cultivate and you stir up these little stories and tidbits. But what I will say is, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a Bravo celebrity, specifically because they're easier to reach. I think you're gonna be hard pressed to find a Bravo celebrity in general that everyone thinks is nice across the board. And I
100% agree.
I'll never forget Snooki, like years back, she was kind of getting a rap for like being mean out in public.
I remember that.
She came out and she said, you guys have to understand how you approach me. She was like, first of all, I'm 4'11", 4'9". She was like, some of you run up to me, okay, when I'm with my kids or even when I'm with myself, and I have no clue what's going on. Yes, that's Snooki, but when she's at the grocery store or walking down the street or something, no one is prepared for people to run up on them like that. And at the end of the day, this is a reality TV star. If she had security with her, you guys would be like, who the fuck who does she think she is? If she didn't have security on her, now y'all are running up on her, you scared her. She's not in the proper mindset. You know what I mean? Things like that. And what Amanda said on Watch What Happens Live was, when caught off guard, I've heard Lindsay is the meanest. So let's process that really quickly.
Oh, okay.
When caught off guard.
I miss
when
that.
Caught off guard, Lindsay is not the nicest.
Well, and a lot of people wouldn't be, like you said.
I'm not going to be.
All, some people are, how do I say it? Socially awkward when they first meet someone, and it can come off as rude to people when sometimes it is just social anxiety, and you wouldn't expect that of Lindsay because she's very outgoing, but some people, like, they have to warm up. So if you have a stranger coming up to you like that, I'm just saying, I don't know if that's the reason, but that could be a reason why some Bravo celebrities get called that when they have a random person. And I'm sorry, if I'm with my kid and you come running up, I am probably going to be rude until I know it's safe.
To be fair, also, I've heard every single last one of those cast members on Summer House has been mean to somebody. I have not heard that one. I have not heard one single one. Like, I've never heard a person say all of them are nice. You know what I mean? Across the board. And then again, it's kind of a dog whistle that Paige and those girls do, because again, you're on Watch What Happens Live. Who's the rudest to fans? Oh, Lindsay. Then you have people online saying, because I read the comments. You have people online
me too.
Yeah, I went up to a meet and greet with that Lindsay and Carl were at, and I said to Lindsay, can I have a picture with just the Pittsburgh boy? And Lindsay had something smart to say back. That's rude. That's rude. That's fuck to say to somebody.
It is rude. It's totally rude
as hell. And you're like, you're a fan of you're not a fan of her. People need to realize that, because the other thing with a lot of Bravo celebrities, and then especially with the show on Summer House, those people, you have a chance to get a little bit more in the action than you realize. And people who watch these shows, they want to be in the action. So you don't like Lindsay. You had your opportunity to give her an attitude, even though you don't know her from a can of paint. I don't care for Paige from what I see on the show. If Paige came in this room and sat right next to me, or if I was face to face with her, I would never, ever be like, can I have a picture with just Craig? Well, I don't want a picture with Craig at all. But
no, you know what? I would pass.
I would never say, hi, Sierra. I don't want to speak to, like, I would never do that, because it's not nice. Did they block you on social media? I don't follow them.
Okay, I don't follow them either, but I did notice that Paige and Craig have blocked me.
I'm not shocked.
I'm not either, because annoying people keep tagging them, which is why I always say, please don't tag people, because I didn't even follow Craig, but I can't remember. Someone posted, I think it was when he ran into Andy on the train and they took a picture or something. And I was like, oh, I want to put it on my my feed or whatever, my story. So I was going to go to Craig's profile and take a screenshot. And then I was like, I guess I'm not doing that.
I think Craig is the downfall of Paige. I really do.
I also think that Craig is very sensitive. I get the impression that, like, I think he struggles more with it than Paige, probably with some bad public perception when it comes to Summer House, because he's used to like the Southern charm game where he's kind of the best of the guys, which doesn't say a lot because they're all garbage. But then he comes over to Summer House, and I think he kind of expected maybe to have the same sort of reception, and it just didn't go that way. It was. Yeah,
Yeah, I famously have said that the downfall of Summer House is Craig and Austin. When Craig and Austin started,
look at what they caused.
Reoccurring roles in Summer House, reoccurring characters. That was the downfall. That I do believe that those two are the reason that we are where we're at today. It's nobody else's fault, and I don't even think I'm not even gonna say it's Paige's fault because she dates him or anything like that. I think that it's Craig and Austin's fault. Austin has had enough sense in his brain, though, to back the fuck off.
Yeah, that's true.
I really think so.
Can Craig back off?
I think that if Craig said, I'm not going to be coming that much during the summer, I don't think Paige would have to film. I don't think Paige would have that big of a deal with it.
Do you think that she would still be with him?
Yeah. I think Paige, from what I gather, I don't know Paige, but a
lot of people think she just wanted to be a Bravo power couple. Which did not go well, obviously.
I think Paige is a girl. I think she's a smart young lady. I think she thinks about these things, and I can't you need to.
Why wouldn't she
have this platform? Yeah, you have this platform, and you need to use it. Do I think that it gave her like a kind of like a smart business move type of thing? Yes, I think she thought about those things.
Oh, I do too.
I think she cares for Craig. I just don't think Paige is a person that wants to be married at this point in her life. I really don't, because I saw the same things with Perry. I don't even think it's a Craig thing. I think Paige is trying to convince herself that she wants these things, because I think as I'm like a year older than her. I think I'm 31. I know she's 30 or something. We convince ourselves like, okay, this is the point that I'm at in my life, and I have this boyfriend, I have all this stuff, and I'm in a good place. Maybe I should start. Maybe I should. I think that she thinks she needs to be taking these next steps.
Yep.
And she thinks that it needs to
and
be
everyone else
somewhere.
Around her is, or many
I was
going
to say Hannah is
there's
married.
That pressure.
Amanda is married. Craig wants to, if he could pluck her out of New York and put her in Charleston, I think he would. I'm going to be honest with you. That's my main thing. I can't see Paige in Charleston.
No, I can't.
He is a New York girly.
And I wouldn't want to if I was her. If I had her life in New York.
No.
Hell, like, and granted, I have never been to Charleston, but just from everything I've heard, and I haven't heard bad things. I've heard it's a really fun place to visit, all that kind of stuff, but it is the diametrical opposite of living the life that she's living. And she's living, to be honest, she's living a really fucking good life.
Paige is
why would she want to?
I would love to live.
Me too. And I'm like married and I have a kid. So it's like, why would she want to leave that? I don't fault her at all.
No, I don't fault her at all. I was just so confused when she was like, yeah, I want to raise my kids in the suburbs. That's how I grew up. But your family lives in, you can go, you don't have to go to Charleston. Your family lives in upstate New York.
Right. Why don't she means go there? The New York suburbs.
Yeah. Why don't you go there? Like, I just don't know. I think that she was influenced by Craig because he had been on Bravo longer. Andy loves him. Loves him. You know what I mean?
Why does Andy love him so much?
I think for what he does for Southern Charm.
Yeah, he is the star.
I think for what he does for Southern Charm, he loves him. I think people need to realize, like, Andrew, from what I can see, loves his stars for what they do for the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he's just like, this guy for Southern Charm, he gets the job done. He's fun to crack on with and talk to, you know what I mean? Yep. He keeps it entertaining when I need him to do. Yeah. And I think it's like, I never have to worry about Craig, right? And for doing his job. Okay. Especially with all the other drama. But I think that she's like, he's a favorite of Andy's. He's a staple on his show. I don't fault the girl at all.
No, and she probably thought that they were going to be a prince and princess of which, to give her a little bit of leeway, they were for a hot minute. Remember when that video came out of the two of them kissing in the elevator and then the elevator doors closed or whatever?
Yeah,
it was the first. Yeah, I wasn't either, but it was the first Instagram video or whatever of them and everyone was freaking out. I love this. They're the best couple. They're so cute. But then we saw them on the show and Craig was acting like an asshole. And she hasn't been able to get that feeling back, probably, or that moment back since then. And then lo and behold, Lindsay and Carl come along and just overtook it.
Well, I think she got a taste. She also got a taste of what Amanda, because I didn't watch Winter House in its entirety, but I did see when she was crying to Amanda.
Yeah.
And she was like, people are going to be mad at him and hate him. And I don't want that. But then they're also going to hate me.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to being in a serious relationship. That happens.
I was just like, interesting. So your boyfriend's acting like a fucking asshole.
Yep.
You don't like that, but here you are crying. Because I'm sorry, Paige talked a lot of shit about Amanda and Kyle and what she was not
supportive.
What she would have done, and I would never put up with that, and da 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 da. And are you putting up with everything that Kyle, did to Amanda? No, not the cheating, not anything like that, as far as we know. But you see now, like when people are starting to turn on your spouse, and your spouse is the person that's causing a lot of controversy and a lot of issues. You get dragged into that. And exactly, she was not a supportive friend to Amanda whatsoever.
No, I thought she was actually making it worse, first of all. And I actually thought that a lot of times when Amanda was like really sad, vulnerable, in a bad state, I actually felt like she was making her feel worse, because instead of Amanda just being upset about, I'm mad at my fiance, whatever, in addition to being upset at her fiance, she now also had to worry about all her friends being mad at her. And a lot of the screaming matches, as if anyone who listened to the Summer House recaps I did, a lot of the screaming matches between Kyle and Paige, they were not all started by Paige. No, sorry, they were not all started by Kyle. They were mostly started by Paige, actually. And so I do think that's not like trying to give Kyle a little leeway, because to be fair, he did have a group and he was getting kind of ganged up on. It was always like Hannah and Paige coming after him. And then Amanda was taking their side. So it was like he had like 3 girls versus him. Don't get me wrong. He made mistakes. I'm not saying he's like an angel, but
no.
I understood why he had his back up against the wall.
It's baffling to me because the basis in the origin of Giggly Squad, why Kyle called him that, is because they were being fucking rude.
Yeah, they were being like
they were being extremely rude. I don't care if you don't like somebody, and like that's my thing. Somebody was like, well, you have to remember they're younger. I said, Paige is my age. We were in high school at the exact same time. She might have graduated because her birthday's in like November or something, and mine's in March. I said, I'm pretty sure we probably graduated. No, she's not in mine. She's got to be a year younger than me. But still, like, she is of age. You know better. If somebody is talking to the group, even if you don't care about it, to be having a side conversation and giggling and giggling so loud that you are interrupting them as they talk to a group, that is rude. That is rude. I don't care if you don't like what they're saying. If you don't, the basis of that is rude. A lot of shit that Paige and Hannah and them did, if done in real life and with no camera around, you would think that they were rude because it is rude.
Right.
And it just is.
Yeah. And I can give a little bit of leeway for age, a little bit, in the sense of like when I'm looking at the differences between Lindsay's choices, the way she deals with men, some of that stuff, like that does, I think about like how when I look at the seasons when they were in their 20s versus women in their 30s, like, yeah, there are some differences. And like you said, the way that Paige is feeling about needing to marry Craig, like some of that is revolving around being of a certain age as a woman, like, especially like I'm 39, right? And I think back on, the rush that I felt when I was like 29, 30, and I was like, I got to get this done. And now that I'm 39, I'm like, okay, I did it all. Like, what's next? Right. And I think a lot of women have that. So I do kind of see that the way they deal with men, but in terms of the maturity level, that's high school maturity level. You should have grown, and your parents should have just taught you that you don't do that. We know you don't do that.
And I just think that when it came to Amanda, I always said this when it came to how her friends talked to and about Kyle. I said, do I think Kyle's right? No, but that is your man. So
stand by him.
Some of the things I understood where the girls were coming from, as girls. Of course. Some of the things, as somebody in a relationship, I'm married, I would literally be like, hey, I understand you guys got my back and you're here for me, but I can't have you talking to him like that. I can't have you talking about him like that. I never saw Amanda do that, and that's what's crazy to me.
Well, and then what happens
as a partner? Because again, we got to take the shoe and put it on the other foot. If Carl talked about those girls like that, if Carl talked about Amanda like that, was like, I can't fucking stand her, bro, blah, blah. People would be like, he's an issue. He is an absolute issue. He can't talk about women like that, blah, blah. It's a mutual respect there that's not being had. And
if you don't do that, then your partner starts to resent you.
Exactly.
Right. So a lot of that stuff, just like you said, you got to say that to your man behind closed doors. Like, honey, when you don't say whatever, you know what I mean? But to put him down in front of the group, no wonder he starts resenting her and, acting all these ways when he's with the group and acting out and getting pissed off. Like, a lot of it is resentment. Okay, so to continue on, we have just covered so much of Summer House. You can tell that we're both Summer House people, that we've watched it. And are you watching Summer House Martha's Vineyard?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I love it too. And I
love it. It's
refreshing.
It is refreshing, and it's like untouched. Because I love that we don't know any of these people.
Yep.
Now, I think Jordan is going to be in Winter House.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard about that.
And I've noticed that Jordan comes or hangs out with a lot of the Amanda, Danielle, the people that hate Lindsay. And here's my thing. I want, because the fandoms are a lot of the issue with Summer House Hamptons.
Agreed.
As well. I fear that since Jordan hangs out with them, people are automatically going to start being like, oh, well, we like her, blah, blah, blah. People are like incapable of realizing like you may like somebody, but that doesn't mean they're always right. You may dislike somebody, that doesn't mean they're always wrong. And especially I think it has it bad when it comes to Summer House. I like that all of these people, there's been no like fandoms created. There's been no like, extreme one side or the other. And so it's just a refreshing take. I don't want to see any of the Summer House Hampton people on Martha's Vineyard. I don't want to see.
No,
I don't want to see that, because if I'm being very, very honest, I don't want to see them giving them advice either.
Yep. I agree.
You guys, Summer House
shit the bed.
They're fucked. They're so fucked. Like I cannot even that seasons 3 through like 6. No, 5. COVID season is season 5. 3, 4, and 5 of Summer House Hamptons, sweet spot. Great.
I know, but those are really the only good ones, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Yep. But they're so good.
Yes.
They're so good. And that's what
like
it was.
We see the potential.
Yes. And I think that's why, because I was like thinking about this and I was laughing and I was like, y'all are really a little big for your britches, because you haven't really been here that long. Nope. You were really good right before the pandemic, to the point where when we were paused for the pandemic and then we finally saw it made it that much more sweet. And that, I'm sorry, season 5 of Summer House is probably one of my favorites when they're locked in that fucking house.
That was fantastic.
Because you have so many dynamics going on.
Yep. And all the stuff with Stravi, that was the season where like it was were they going to be together? Were they not? And then the whole Luke thing, like it had everything.
Yeah, I miss Luke. Everybody fucking kills me.
I miss Luke too.
Well, because when people are like, Lindsay treated Stravi so terribly, y'all like Stravi that much? You like him?
He barely was on camera.
Fuck about him.
Yeah,
you didn't give a fuck about that guy.
And what are we constantly saying? How many sandwiches have you made for me?
Yeah.
We're all quoting Lindsay. We're not quoting Stravi.
Exactly. And like Stravi was a rebound. When people try and doubt the relationship that is Lindsay and Carl, I'm like, have you been watching?
Exactly.
Have you been really watching this show? Because it is
the signs are there.
Circle moment that those two end up together. It's so full circle.
And were they a little awkward at the beginning of the season? Yes, because it was their first season as a real mature couple that were dedicated to each other, that knew they were going towards marriage and kids. So yeah, they didn't know how to act and they acted a little odd at first, but I mean, we're not going to give them any grace for that at all. Like nobody gave them any, everyone was like, ew, they're so gross with that nurse scene, like da-da-da. Like, yeah, it was cringe, but who cares? I'm over it.
Yeah, I could have done without it too. But it didn't change
I'm also
my brain
over
chemistry. It didn't affect it out of the grand scheme of things in that season of everything that went down. I wasn't like, God damn that fucking nurse's scene. You know what I mean? And it's like with the like, babe. Yeah,
there was a lot of babes.
Absolutely. A lot of babes.
I have to be honest, my husband and I do the babe thing. It's embarrassing, but it's I don't know why we do it. It just happened, and it's been like over 15 years, and it won't go away.
My name
and
is
now I don't even notice it.
My name is not Zell to my husband. It is babe. It's babe.
Okay, thank you.
Like
a lot of couples do it.
I don't think that people realize this is my thing when people start getting overly critical of normal things. You don't have a camera on you.
Exactly.
You don't have a camera on you. So if you had a camera following you around you would probably notice a lot of shit that you say and do that you're like, oh my God.
Yep.
What? You know what I mean? And I think in the same breath, Kyle and Amanda, and that I want to have cookie crumbs. I want to. I can't deal with that shit from them either. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm just like, God, this is annoying.
Yeah, but we give them some leeway because they're on camera all day, all the time. And this is the one show where it's like surveillance constant.
Yeah.
It's not like Vanderpump Rules where they're coming in and out.
Yeah, no. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, you guys, when you guys were high, you were really, really high. But now I think they took that for granted. I think that I think Winter House fucked a lot of shit. I think we need to axe that.
I agree. It's not, the ratings aren't even that high.
I
don't know what they're doing
for that show.
No, there's no need. I don't get it. And now they're bringing on like Brian from Family Karma. I don't want to ruin him. Like, what, I just feel like they're bringing on below deck people. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why.
Tom Schwartz. Is there?
Yeah, but Sandoval won't be there, but I believe Schwartz will. No, because Sandoval's like training in some army camp or whatever the fuck that is. But I don't know. I feel like it's giving too much opportunity for Schwartz to try and win people back, which I don't like. And then it's also just throwing all these randos together, and it's going to just, I don't know. I just think nothing good can come out of it.
Bravo does this thing where they take an idea and they like run with it. So we had Ultimate Girls Trip, for example.
Yeah, they get too excited.
Girls Trip. Yeah, they do. They took Ultimate Girls Trip and Housewives, right?
Yep.
And now they're like, oh, this is this. Well, it's like, y'all didn't think this through that well.
No.
There's no fucking way you thought this through that well. Because we've had 1, 2, 3. 3 was a fucking flop. And that's just simply because of the wives. That was because of the wives, because Giselle has to ruin everything. But
that's what they have to think through is, will these people work together? It's not but they're just throwing them.
Well, that's why I really liked Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip seasons 1 and 2, because I loved 1 and 2. You get to see a different side of these ladies outside of their cast. You know, you get to see them play a different role. You get to see, I mean, I came out of 1 and 2 liking different people more. I'm not gonna lie, Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 1 changed how I felt about Kenya. A lot.
Oh, okay. I always really loved Kenya, so I still loved her after. But
I mean,
I think it changed a lot of people's opinions on Kenya, on Teresa until the new Jersey season started. But for temporarily, but it let you see people without especially the stars. Like Teresa is always a target for her cast because she's like the mainstay. So I think it takes they're like, she wasn't with her back up against the wall, ready to cuss people out. Like, she was relaxed. And when do we get to see that? Ramona was the same because she's crazy, but
Ramona was the same. I think Kyle was the same.
Yeah, because Kyle's also, Kyle's Kyle.
It was good to see Kenya was her true self, I think. She was her true self.
I think so too.
It was good to see how these women react with no alliances. With no alliances. And
totally
same thing with season 2, Vicky had Tamara and all that stuff, but Vicky and Tamara can tell each other when each other's being ridiculous.
Oh, and they do. They do.
Season 3, the biggest mistake was Giselle and Candace. They should have never been on there together.
What were they thinking?
They should have never been on there together. And that was before they had filmed the reunion, and I think they had just wrapped. So when they filmed that, none of us had seen anything. None of the other wives, anybody had seen anything. And I have to wonder, had they had the chance to see what happened, what played out, if that season would have still gone the way that it did, with people like back at Portia, a dumbass, like a true airhead. I think Portia still would have tried to be like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, no, Portia, Candace has a point. You gave Monique the space and opportunity to explain her side and immediately took her side. You didn't offer me the same thing. You can, you're not a fucking journalist. You're not a journalist. You do not have a journalism degree. You're a reality TV star who got an opportunity to host a show.
Yeah.
That's what
and if you weren't on the reality show,
you're a personality. That's what you are. It's not a journalist. Okay. So
we should never get that confused.
But yeah, it's fine.
But just own what you are.
If I ever was on a show, I would never be like, well, I'm a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm a personality.
Yeah, you're not a journalist.
Right? I'm a fucking personality. That's what that is. But she has a point. She has every right to say that hurt my feelings. I think Giselle is a person I would love to see Giselle completely isolated.
I would too.
She doesn't have anybody that she's going to latch on to. Because she just latched on to Portia, and Portia people love Portia, right? But they get back to my main point is Bravo gets these ideas. Okay, Ultimate Girls Trip, Winter House. They're like, okay, these Summer House people, like they shit the bed so badly with the not only casting, but with the the planning, the producing. You guys cannot we can't make this happen. I think they gave them way too much control. And I know it's a reality TV show and everything like that, but I can't make a show like this. It's not gonna work. Okay. No one has yet to ask. We've asked Paige, but we don't hold her feet to the fire. All I wanted was for Andy in that reunion to be like, Paige, what's your issue? Oh, this, and this. All stuff that she named was stuff that we had claimed to move past. So why no one looked her in the face and said, isn't that something you claim to move past?
Well, that's my problem.
No? Yes, it is. So why are you talking about it now? Because you have a lot of energy and a lot of vim right now for Lindsay, even though you've claimed to have moved past it. So what is it going to do? How can we move on? No one checks her. No one checks. And that's what irritates the shit out of me. It doesn't matter if you don't like Lindsay, how Andy feels about Lindsay, whatever. You didn't do your job effectively.
Exactly.
You did not do your job effectively because it makes no sense that Paige was screaming at Lindsay like that.
It made no sense to the viewers. It made no sense to any of us. And it wasn't just the most recent season. It was a lot of the reunions. It was like they were saying, I love you to each other and hugging and stuff like that at the end. And then all of a sudden at the reunion, Paige won't even turn. And Andy did address that when he was like, you won't even look at her. Like, what? But again, what happened? Someone needs to push.
The question being, and it's not like we don't even push. They don't ask her the most basic questions. And I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? It makes me want to scream. It makes me want to scream. If I ever saw Andy going out, I would ask him, why do you not ask her the most basic questions? That is the one question I have for that man. Why do you not ask her? You won't look at her. No, I won't. So, okay, Paige, since you're so mad at her, you won't look at her. May I ask what changed from this clip where you're saying we're all just trying to figure it out? I love you and you're hugging.
Right.
So right now, tell me. Tell me what changed. If you want to say, oh, I watched back the stuff from the season. You were there.
Yeah, exactly. You were there and you saw even more stuff. It?
But what I think it is with Paige is I don't think Paige really has a big problem with Lindsay. I think Paige gets in trouble often with her friends.
Yeah.
I don't think she gives a fuck. I think she gets in trouble with her friends. So then she overcorrects and she comes hard. Because all of those looks between Paige and Sierra at the reunion, they're like, they're like little snarky. I'm sorry. I would have been like, what the fuck are you two looking at each other like that for? You barely said 3 words.
It made me so mad.
Sierra. You're a part-time. What are you talking? What are you looking like that for? I'm sorry. I would have had to.
No one checks Paige, like you said. And now they've created a monster.
A monster.
She, as much as people still want to hold on to like the old Paige that we met the first season, but that's not who she is anymore. She's become like, a lot of people might disagree with this, but she in some ways is bordering on Sandoval. And what I mean by that is he is the ultimate of like, anytime he's called on anything, he brings up stuff from the past. I'm not comparing them in any other way, just that. She, just like you said, anytime she's called on anything, she's like, well, that's because
you yelled at me my first season.
Exactly.
Yes, I did yell at you. We yelled at each other. And then guess what happened, Paige? We went to lunch. We hugged. We got dressed together. We laughed together. We moved on. I would literally, if I were Lindsay, I'd be like, I don't want to fucking hear about that anymore. Exactly. And I don't want to be like, oh, that takes away the feelings from it. No, it doesn't. Because you know what? You want to talk about my feelings? Every time I go to move on with you, I have to hear about 5 years ago when we yelled at each other.
Exactly.
You called Lindsay a fucking bitch in front of the entire house. You don't see her. And people will be like, well, she is a bitch. To you. To you, you think she's a bitch. But that doesn't make that a fact. I think Paige is a little fucking twat. What about that? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's not a fact.
You know what I mean? It's
just, sorry. I was just going to ask, do you think, okay, so this video has come out of the cast all partying. Did you see it?
Yeah.
While they're filming. And Lindsay is like dancing with Craig, which I was surprised by, but whatever. It's like a TikTok and they're all there. So what do you make of it? And what do you think? Like, I'm shook that this season is going to have Lindsay interacting with these people, because personally, I don't think I could do it. But I get it. It's her job. And like I said, she is a seasoned professional. And I mean, let's be honest, she knows she's the queen of the show, so why should she leave? But do you think that, like, what do you think is going to happen? How can they function together? Is this season going to be a wash?
I think that they're going to, I'm going to be very honest. I think that they got cooked on the internet. When I mean cooked. I mean Paige and Craig. I know I cooked Craig's ass. Okay, I cooked him.
Apparently I did too, because they blocked me. So
yeah, I know I cooked his ass.
Oh, Sierra blocked me too, by the way.
Okay.
Amanda and Kyle didn't, to be fair. So I'll give them that.
You know what I find funny about people blocking you is that you're sharing other people's thoughts.
So it's like
you're sharing other people's thoughts, and you do try and find the ones that like represent both sides. However,
sometimes,
yes.
No, I do.
However, unanimously across the board, especially with like this season of Summer House, a lot of people were on the same side and it wasn't theirs. And that's another thing.
People called me on that. They were like, you're being so pro Lindsay. And one person, I said to them, there are no tweets that are pro. There are like two, and they're both not funny and boring. So I'm trying to find funny ones. So I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is the popular opinion. And this is 98% of the tweets. This represents them. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And you don't like you said, it's all about entertainment. You pulled the funny, factual
the
ones,
funniest ones,
the funny factual ones. You're not pulling ones that are just like, I love Paige, I love Lindsay, I love.
No, they're based on something that happened in the episode. Yeah.
That's that's not what you're doing. But people don't. People like, I'm sorry, people who are like hardcore giggly squad defenders and stuff, lacking like 3 marbles bouncing around up there.
Sorry, but I interrupted you before. So you said they got cooked on the internet.
Yeah, I think they got cooked on the internet. I think they're like, okay, the jig is fucking up. We've tried for the past 2 seasons to get Lindsay the fuck out of here, and the bitch won't die. She's the cockroach of Summer House. I think that's where they're at with her. Okay, so I think they're at the point now. Yeah, I think they're at the point now where they're like, we have no choice. I don't think that any of them, I don't think Paige, Craig, Sierra, any of them are strong enough to take another online commentary beating the way they did this last season. No,
they're not.
So I think they're like, no, this time we are actually fucking deading it. We are actually fucking deading it. And that's going to be a wrap.
Ironically, Lindsay is good at taking beatings online, which she has since season. She doesn't change or give a shit, and that's the thing. They want to be liked so bad. I do think Lindsay wants to be liked, because everybody does to a point. However, I also think that Lindsay knows that some of her more questionable quote unquote behavior is what brings the ratings and is what has made her like quotable. Like, you've not seen me activated and
reality TV star.
She's the star.
Because to be a great reality TV star, you don't have to like her, but she is a great reality TV star. You cannot deny that. You have to put, I don't even know if I could continue to do. Sometimes I look at her comments and I'm like, oh,
I know, they're
good
brutal.
God. I'm like, fuck, I don't know how you post anything.
I hope she doesn't read them.
I think she does.
You think
And
so?
that, I mean,
she probably reads like some, and then she has some days where she's like, I can't do it. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I mean, hell, I get that way with the fucking TikTok sometimes. That sometimes I'll like, once we hit like 225 comments, I'll be like,
that's
I
a
will
lot of
skim
comments.
it. I will make sure that nothing is like wildly inappropriate or wildly mean, because I don't deal with that. Even if the people, and that's what people don't understand about me. Like, people have made comments, rude comments about Paige, about Craig, about I don't deal with that. Okay. So it doesn't matter if I like them or not. There are some things that I'm just not going to foster the environment for. And that is totally. Like extremely hateful comments.
Yes, like, I agree. I usually just delete them.
Me too.
If people are going too far, like calling someone a whore or something, I'm like, get out of here. Like,
I mean, hell, I deleted comments about, somebody said something really fucked up about Raquel on one of my reviews of
that's fair.
TikTok.
I would delete it too.
I'm sorry. It was fucked up to the point where I was like, I can't support this.
No,
I don't agree what she did, but that had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
And that's really messed up to say that about somebody.
Well, that's why I delete comments when they tag them, because I also don't want those people to read it and get hurt. Like, I don't like that people blocked me, because that means they probably read something, got hurt, didn't want to see it. Or maybe they're just super sensitive to a lot of it is jokes. So some people are whatever. But at the end of the day, like, that's not what I'm out there trying to do. I'm out there so the fans can laugh. I'm not out there so that we can
to make people
tag Tamra Judge and troll her. That's not what I want.
Right. And I just think that, I hate when people are like, well, why would they be on TV? I think you can be on TV and not expect half comments. People talk about Paige all the time because she deletes comments. I guess I said, yeah, I delete comments too. Y'all think you're gonna come onto my fucking page and call me names? Are you mental? Oh,
exactly.
Are you dumb or are you like stupid? Like, which one is it? You think you can go on someone's personal page just because they're a celebrity or a star on a show and say something? And I don't understand this. When somebody does something that you don't like on a show, you immediately go to their Instagram and type them a fucking mean comment or a dissertation in their comments.
Never in my life.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But
I know, at least come up with a funny, clever meme and tweet it out. That's the right.
Exactly. Get on your TikTok and be like, I need to talk about this episode, like something. But you go to their, like, yeah, I'm gonna delete the fucking comment. Why would I keep that there? You're not being nice to me.
It's like, get out of here.
I just think that they're like, I think they're waving their white flags. They're like, we cannot.
Okay, that's a possibility.
Where if something happens, if altercation happens, then it happens. But we cannot continue to feed into it. I think Kyle realized halfway through the reunion.
Oh, him and Amanda
realized because he was like, so where do we go from here? Because the one thing about it, two things for sure, this is Kyle's bread and butter. Kyle has made 100%. It so that Summer House is his baby. He cares about this show. He cares about it. And I think he fed into it a little bit because he wanted to please his wife and her friends. I think that's exactly what it was. And I think that at the reunion, I think that Kyle realized, like, what has happened to my show? Because in his own words, what he told Hannah 2 seasons ago, when she did all of that shit, at the end of the day, this is a show about a group of friends, and you are not acting like our friend.
Exactly.
You are not acting, and then he needs to take that own advice. I think he realized that. I don't think Kyle's as stupid as people like make him out to be.
No, I don't think he's stupid at all.
But yeah, he may have a mullet, but I don't think
he acts a fool, but he's not. I also think that what happened with Carl and him saying that thing about Carl and his addiction or whatever, I think that was a wake-up call for him, that he got so far down the rabbit hole with this takedown that he thought, okay, Carl's now with Lindsay, so he's, I guess, par for the game. Yeah, he's collateral damage. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And he just realized, like, what did I just do to like one of my best friends? Plus, he got torn apart for trying to blame Lindsay for all of Carl's issues. And I think he realized, like, it's 2023. Like, you can try and blame the woman for everything the guy does, but you're going to get called on it.
I just think that it was a proper takedown. Like, I think that they really tried to execute
I think so too.
A proper takedown. And it
was a plan.
Honestly, the stats were on their side. Like it was, but it's just like something about Lindsay. It's like, she's gonna survive it each and every time. It's wild. It's crazy. That's partly why I love her. But I think that, when I first heard about the casting, I was pissed. I was properly pissed because I think that Summer House needs a revamp. However, the more I sit on it and I think about it, and when I saw that TikTok, I said, I think this is probably going to be the farewell season for a lot I agree. Of them. Because I don't think that it could have ended the way that it did.
On such a sour.
That would just be sad to say goodbye to those main characters for the main staples for this show, and not bring their circle full story. So I think we're going to end this season we're going to see Carl and Lindsay get married. We're going to say goodbye to them. I think Amanda and Kyle are probably going to be out of there as well too.
Wow.
Like,
how will Kyle survive financially? Like, I'm actually worried about him.
I'm sure they have a plan for them. I would not be surprised if they got a spinoff.
I would love a show about them in the city, in the suburbs of the city, whatever, wherever they move one day when they have kids. I don't care. I would love that. I wouldn't be
shocked if they got a spinoff. I think after this season, after we wrap it up nicely, I think they are going to give it not a full revamp, because they're starting to bring in newer people too. The thing that confused me, not confused me because I know, but I was like, wow, I was like, that's a bold move. Bravo is not bringing Sam back.
Yeah, I mean, I know why too.
Yeah, we know why.
But so for those of you who are listening who don't know, he's liked a lot of transphobic, racist, etc. Like tweets, Instagram posts, and obviously Bravo didn't want him on the show anymore, and it would be so confusing for fans to bring Sam without Corey back. Like, do you think that's why? That was my first thought, was if she comes back and she's still with him, she's gonna have to explain, why is Corey not here? Do you know? And I feel like they just don't even want to address it. They would just rather totally ignore it.
They wouldn't. I know for a fact that those things have been sent to her over and over again. She knows his, and this is what I say to people all the time when they're like, oh my God, does so-and-so know? That's your partner.
Of course she knows.
She knows. She knew where he stood on those things.
She's not an idiot.
Just like Paige knows where Craig stands on those things.
And really? Where does he stand? Same place as Corey, I'm assuming?
Not as loudly, but yeah.
Okay.
We have to remember.
I haven't personally seen I've seen the Corey receipts. I haven't, but maybe it's because I'm blocked
Craig
by
is smarter than that. Craig is smarter than that. To like that stuff. However, Craig is also a man that decided to, in 2020, in the middle of 2020, in the middle of the Black Lives Matter uprising, decided that it was a good idea to go live with Tommy Lahren. In the middle of all that, and was like,
okay, now that you're saying that, I'm remembering it now.
You're getting a lot of heat. I think it's important for you to be able to speak your truth and blah, blah, blah. You gave that platform. What was Paige doing in 2020 while she was dating Perry, somebody who's extremely left-leaning, was donating to Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. However, what did she do when called out about behaviors that she had that were problematic? She said, and I quote, I spent a lot of my time raising money and donating and sending money to charities and stuff. And I guess I can't please everybody.
That's a very
she spent a lot of it, so that she just doesn't get it, and
she makes herself the victim as usual.
Yeah, it's one of those things where those girls know where their men lie, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Of course they do.
Too far off. What I found absolutely baffling was during Pride Month, Sam was promoting LGBTQ charities and things like that, and I was literally like,
so okay, here's what I thought about that.
I can't, that infuriates me.
Yep. And I totally
That
agree with you.
infuriates me.
Now, I thought it was a PR move that she was trying to say to, I thought, and I could be way off, but I thought she was trying to imply, don't worry, guys, I've changed Corey. Like, I've talked to him and I've tried to, show him the I don't know, the error of his ways. And I feel like she was trying to convince people that now that he's with me, he's going to be more progressive and he's going to whatever. And
I don't think Sam's that progressive. I just think she's a white girl that lives in
no. I think she was trying to send that message, though. Whether she's actually that or not is another story. But I think that was the message she was trying to send the following, because she knew that this was going to get, it all comes back to the show. She knew this could get her fired from the show, and she didn't want to be fired.
And I don't know if they're not coming back at all, or if they're just coming back part-time. Is also, I think she needs to leave him, because there's been a lot of other things in my inbox that are hard facts that I don't think, and I feel bad because she posted something where she was like, oh, I was going to post a vlog, but then, it's just I'm going through a really, really, really hard time. And I'm just like, and on the inside, I was like, I wonder if that information got to her.
Oh no.
But I don't know. I don't know, because it seems like they're
did you see the thing about the gym with Corey? So, okay, I posted this on my story a couple days ago, but basically,
I've been out of town, so that's why.
Don't worry. So he's opening a gym apparently
in Charlotte,
and so there's a competitor gym as well, who he currently goes to work out. And he posted like something about his own gym on his Instagram, and the competitor commented and said something like, yeah, maybe you should be supportive of other gyms in the neighborhood, because we always are supportive of the community around us, and not, basically they accused him of writing his own gym's name in like graffiti around their gym. Like something like about his gym being the best or something like that. And he responded and was like to their comment, and basically was like, oh, don't like hate the player, hate the game, or something stupid like that.
Such a fucking dickhead.
He's such like if that doesn't show you just the kind of attitude and ego that he has, like and that you go into someone else's gym, and
that's what I was going to say.
Like, that is so, and you go there to work out, and then you vandalize it? Like, you leave your, whatever he did, you leave your stickers, whatever you did, it was disrespectful and rude. You think that the fellow gym business community now is going to, usually there's a camaraderie amongst like restaurant owners or whatever. We're in the same neighborhood. He's destroyed that for himself. So he's fucking himself over on every front.
He's such a fucking dickhead, but I'm not shocked. He's the same person who got mad at his friend because Craig got cast on Southern Charm.
And he didn't. I always forget that they were friends, because I cannot think of anything more embarrassing. Sometimes I live in the show world, and then I'm like, oh yeah, because he hasn't been on the show. But it makes sense.
I can't think of
birds of a feather flock together, right?
Like, you're so mad at your friend because he got cast and you didn't.
I know, like, it's not, he doesn't control the casting, Corey.
Well, okay? You're a fucking walking PR nightmare for a show.
He so is.
Even a show like Southern Charm, where in the first season, Thomas Ravenel's we had Thomas Ravenel in the first place.
Yeah. But they're all walking PR.
We had Thomas fucking Ravenel's dad, who was like, I don't carry dollars because I hate Lincoln, winking at the camera.
Oh, God. That was such a mess. I can't believe that ever happened. I can believe
ask me why I don't watch that show. I'm like, do you have time?
The list is hours and hours and hours long.
Like, hello?
Okay. I think, just based on everything that you said about where Summer House is going to go, I echo that. I agree with everything. I definitely think that you're right. They're going to wave the white flag. They can't do anything else. And I'm going to, just pray that you're right about the spinoff thing, because I would really enjoy that. And you know what I was thinking the other day too, is maybe they won't even have new people on the Summer House, because now we have Martha's Vineyard, which is much better anyways. Like, maybe the Summer House in Hamptons will just turn into the spinoff, and then we'll just have the other one.
I don't know, because the thing about Martha's Vineyard is that they have to stay there. The allure the thing that we loved so much about Summer House Hamptons was the fact that we saw them in the city and in the Hamptons. Yeah. However, we did lose that We lost that when COVID
happened. They don't really
because,
do much of it.
Well, it's because COVID. When COVID happened, it was like, okay, they had to stay there the entire summer, one, but two, I think you just really lost it because obviously New York was such a hot spot for COVID. And, you know, it was
definitely.
That's just what I think. I don't know any of that for a fact or anything like that, but they need to get back to that. We need to get more city time on the way to the Hamptons. You know what I mean? During the week, things like that. I think that's going to be crucial.
Right. Okay. That is true. All right. So I guess it's yet to be seen, but hopefully I'm sure you and I will be all over Twitter discussing it whenever whatever season happens. And whatever relationship dynamics happen, I'm pretty sure we're both going to be on Lindsay's side. So we'll just go with that.
Right. Even when I'm not on her side, I'm on her side.
Right. Same. So we're all good. Okay. So my time is about to run out again. Zoom is so annoying. Are you able to talk a little bit about what you do in your account and then just wrap up and then we could. Yeah.
So I have a TikTok account where I recap Bravo shows. Sometimes I talk about scripted shows. Like I'm really into The Summer I Turned Pretty right now because I fucking love that show. Love Island, USA and UK, things like that. I just love TV. So that's what I do over on my TikTok page. I have a podcast where I talk about all of the Bravo shows and then what's going on in pop culture. And then I have a YouTube page where you can follow me around in my real life vlogging.
Okay, now is the YouTube one new?
Yes, it is
new. Okay, because I saw your announcement of it. And how's it going so far?
It's going good so far.
I've heard YouTube can be a tough place.
It is. YouTube editing. Editing right now, I think because I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel, always. And I always get so scared because it is a tough place, but I'm on TikTok and TikTok is not, okay. I don't think it's
I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know, but
it's not easy to be anywhere on social media. I don't think, but TikTok can be rough.
I've heard
rough. So I mastered that. So I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for YouTube.
So then you're good.
So I'm doing vlogs and some reality TV recaps and things like that over on YouTube. And then on my Instagram page, I'm just talking instant shit in the stories.
Yeah, but we love that. I always think about I'm like all the people who are my favorite Bravo content creators are like people who like to rant and talk on their stories about just whatever their feelings are and they're honest about them and they're not trying to just pander to the popular opinion, and those are always my favorite. Always. We love
my opinion may not be popular, but it is my opinion. I'm gonna give it. I'm not gonna change it.
I know. Good. Exactly. That's what I always say too. People are like, why do you like this person? I'm like, it doesn't matter. That's who I like, and I'm going with it. So I'm not going to change it. Yeah. I'm never saying anyone else has to like what I like or has to change to my opinion. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. I'm sorry it got cut off so awkwardly. We were recording on Zoom and they only give you 40 minutes and then it cuts off unless you have the paid version, which I don't. And we'd already gotten cut off once before and reconnected. And I knew that Selle was at the end of her time anyways. So I'm so grateful that she was able to come on. She was such a great guest. She's so fun and funny, and she does not hold back her opinions about Bravo, which we love. You should definitely check her out on social media. She's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. I'm going to put all her socials and contact in the show notes so that if you want to check her out and her podcast, you can definitely do that. Give her a follow on social media. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend or 100 friends, whatever you want. You can follow me on Instagram at The Bravo Papers, or for my Twitter roundups, follow at Bravo and Botox. If you'd like to support me, please go to buymeacoffee.com/Bravo and Botox for some much needed caffeine support. And until next time, keep overanalyzing Bravo.